Hello and welcome once again aboard JulieCity. I hope you're keeping well and you're keeping safe. Thank you so much for clicking to watch today's video. Honestly, I don't even know how to start or where to start, but I won't waste your time. We'll just start somewhere. Hey! So recently I was on my own scrolling through TikTok when I came across this whole saga of a young lady in her right senses coming out to declare that she actually had intercourse with a dog after being paid about 1.7 million naira. Before you think it's pounds, no, naira. 1.7 million naira. I don't know when money became the most important thing, more important than life, more important than health. Because some of the things people go into these days, some of the weirdest things we hear of are actually because of money. A young girl made in the image of God, beautiful in her own right, decided because of 1.7 million naira to debase herself to a relationship with a dog. Like, okay. Well, I'm not here to tell stories, it's out there. What I'm here to do is to throw light on some of the consequences. When we understand some of the consequences of our action, it might actually help us to make the right decision. And that's purely why I'm sharing this video. It's important for you who is now looking at this girl and thinking, oh, that's a quick money, I can actually do it and get away with it. Well, there are people who have done it, who will do it and get away with it. But beware that there are health consequences. And I don't care how much you are paid, but you know what? Your health is your wealth. I just went online to make some research regarding this whole thing, and it's in fact, I was co-jarred. I don't even know whether that is Igbo or English, but I was co-jarred to know that people actually do have relationship, carnal knowledge of dogs, cats, pussy, bustle. It's not a laughing matter, sha. People actually do have carnal knowledge of cats, dogs, horses, cattle, sheep, pigs, snakes, crocodile. You will be shocked in history, but it's not common. However, there are a lot of health implications. Now, that girl that shared her story, she came back to say she was only catching cruise. That is to say, she was just trying to gain attention, to be popular, to trend. And trust your fellow Nigerians, when I went to the comment section, they gave it to her full time. The anatomy of an animal is different from the anatomy of a human being. We can all agree on this. So human beings are meant to interact with their fellow human beings, and animals are meant to interact with their fellow animals according to species. So whatever the discharges may be, sperm have been made to match human to human, each specific animal to each specific animals. We all agree on that. Now, when we begin to cross-match, there are certain germs in animals like bacteria, parasites, viruses, and infections that can terribly impact on the health of a human being due to the exchange of semen. Due to a human being having a carnal knowledge of an animal, like a cat, a dog, a cattle, a sheep, a pig, a horse, a parasite can be transferred from that animal into the human being. And this parasite, as I've put on the screen, can lead to very impactful health implications from mild to severe or even deadly. Yeah. Now, this parasite, let's just put it in plain language as you and I will understand. So, there are certain type of worms that live in animals. These animals that people fraternize with sexually that can become very harmful to a human being. They can form cysts that will end up in the lungs, the liver, the heart, the kidney of a human being, leading to severe medical consequences. So before you make the decision to experiment on animal human cross match, like this girl who decided the dog was her most favorite, beware that you can actually get a worm that can end up leading you to an early grave. Beware. The other type of health compromise that a person can have by having carnal knowledge of an animal is the virus that we all know or we've heard of, rabies. So rabies is a viral infection that can be transferred from animal to human being, especially the dogs and cats. Having that close contact or carnal knowledge with a dog or a cat that is infected with rabies can also transfer this viral infection into the human, leading to a compromised health. Of course, we know it can cause death of a human being if not properly treated or urgently treated. The other one is a bacterial infection that can be transferred from an animal to a human being through the urine of an infected dog, cat, sheep, horse, pig. If someone decides to have a carnal knowledge of any of these infected animals, this can transfer to the person, which obviously affects the central nervous system of a human being, leading to something like meningitis. So before you begin to think of the pleasure of a dog, a cat, a horse, aside of your fellow human being, consider that you might actually be putting your life at risk. Research shows that the male or men have a higher tendency of having relationship with an animal. Please, men, don't shoot me. I looked at research. It's only a small percentage of crazy people who do this, but it does happen. Because there are certain secretions in this animal that are incompatible with human secretion, a sexual intercourse or a carnal knowledge with these animals can actually lead to penile cancer, which is cancer of the penis. So before you begin to thrust your thing into an animal, just know that whether it's for money or for pleasure, you are actually putting your life at risk. So ask yourself, is it worth it? Severe allergic reactions can also be another problem with bestiality. Yeah, like I said earlier, the semen in animal and human beings are completely different. The anatomy is different. So when we begin to cross match, something can go wrong and chemical reactions can take place because the human immune system recognizes that animal semen as foreign and begins to attack. The individual can go into anaphylactic shock, yes, which can be deadly. So while you're thinking of this pleasure, remember that you're putting your life at risk and your health is your wealth. Again, injuries from head injury to crushing to death can actually occur because the animal, for example, horses, if a female decides to engage with a large animal like a horse, a cattle, a cow, they might be so aroused, like research shows, that they won't realize that it's not their fellow size that they are going into. So what happens? Things like horses, research shows that they can thrust suddenly, and that can actually cause their waiting call to enlarge. And that might cause injury to the woman's vajayjay. Yes. And also, it's a different type of stamina with a horse and a human being. So you see that you can end up being crushed to death because you're trying to experiment what is not reasonable, a taboo. Or you can be so aroused that the horse will kick. There are evidences, there are stories. A woman that was crushed to death somewhere in Ireland when she engaged in that. There was another story of a man that got a perforated colon when he was fraternizing with a horse. There is the one that perforated her rectum. She perforated her bum because of fraternizing with a pig. God help us. So beware, head injury is one. If a horse decides to give a kick or a cow because they are well aroused, as laughable as it may be, really, sexual relationships should be between two consenting adults. So when a man or a woman decides to go have a relationship with a dog, just know that that is animal cruelty, because the dog or the cat, the horse, the cattle, I'm sure, didn't give their consent. So when they don't give their consent, what is happening? It is illegal. That's just like an adult not consenting to that relationship. It is rape. So beware that you're causing animal cruelty. And the fact that we can spread infections to other people who are innocent of the decisions the person has taken. So it's important that we know what we are getting into before we get into it. In healthcare, we call it the informed consent so that you can make informed decisions. If you begin to find that you enjoy it and it's something you desire or imagine very frequently, then it's time to call a mental health counselor, because all is not well. There are so many men and so many women available to have relationships with. Why the animal one? Why? And you know, the sad part of it is not just the pleasure. The pleasure is weird, but there are weird human beings. It's the fact that somebody felt that the only way to make money is to do it. And it's my opportunity to also speak to those who dehumanize human beings, their fellow human beings, because they have the privilege of cash. Just know that money is not everything. Human life matters. Because you have physical cash, you now dehumanize a fellow human being enough to make your dog lay on them, to make your cat lay on them. Beware. So strange things happen in our strange world. But like I said, the healthcare system is already at its breaking point as it is due to COVID. Please, let's be wise in our decisions so that we don't break each other. Being a healthcare professional, if another infection goes wild, that means more pressure, and we are short already as it is. Please, let's put some respect, some worth, some value on our life. Honestly, life is precious and there is nothing more valuable than life. I understand that things might be rough. Let money not be the yardstick for drastic decisions, because you might end up regretting it. You might be too sick to even enjoy that money. Please, let's be wise and let's create awareness and raise our words to be wise. Hi, God help us. Anyways, that's my little bit here. Till I see you next time. If you have not subscribed, this is the right time to click that red subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notifications for all my uploads and you won't miss a thing. Remember, if you found this video useful, give it a like. That way, YouTube's algorithm knows that it is useful and valuable and shows it off to a lot more others who need to see it. Let's create awareness. As much as we have the right to do what we like, we also owe it to our fellow human beings to stay safe and to do those things that will keep others safe. It's not right. It's not right having an affair with animals for money's sake. Till I see you next time, don't forget, your health is your wealth.